Why did she crash my ship? The alien queen's answer left me speechless. Captain Jaren had been through many dangerous missions in his life, but nothing had prepared him for this. The stars outside the cockpit of his small trade ship stretched endlessly, silent and cold. He adjusted the controls, checking the navigation panel. His mission was simple: deliver supplies to the remote mining colony on Veridian 7. He had done it hundreds of times, but something about this route felt different. A faint hum vibrated through the ship. At first, Jaren thought it was just a system glitch, but the hum grew louder. Red lights flashed on the dashboard. He frowned and leaned forward, his fingers flying over the controls. What the? Before he could finish the sentence, a sudden shock hit the ship from the side. The cockpit shook violently, throwing him against the seat. Warning alarms screamed in his ears. "Control override, stabilizers failing," Jaren shouted to himself, gripping the armrest. Outside, he could see a bright flash streak past. His ship's sensors screamed in panic. Something enormous had collided with him, something not registered on any star charts. Jaren slammed his hand on the emergency thrusters, trying to regain control, but the ship pitched wildly. Metal groaned and sparks flew. The world outside became a blur of stars and light. He tried to send a distress signal, but the communication system was dead. Come on," he muttered, sweat running down his temple. He pushed every lever and button he could reach, but it was no use. The ship was losing altitude fast. The sensors warned of an approaching planetary surface. A cratered, rocky world grew larger in the viewport. Jaren's heart pounded in his chest as he braced for impact. The crash was violent. The ship hit the ground hard, sliding across the jagged rocks and skidding into a shallow valley. The cockpit was a mess of broken glass and bent metal. Alarms still blared and smoke filled the cabin. Jaren's vision swam, and he struggled to remain conscious. Finally, he managed to crawl out of the wreckage, gasping for air. His uniform was torn and singed, but he was alive. Somehow he had survived the impossible. He looked around. The planet was unlike anything he had seen before. The sky was pale green, streaked with orange clouds. Strange plants twisted toward the sunlight, their leaves shimmering with a metallic sheen. Massive rock formations jutted from the ground like teeth. It was beautiful, but deadly. Jaren knew he could not survive here long without shelter and resources. He took a deep breath and tried to calm his racing mind. The ship's remains smoked behind him. He would need to salvage supplies. As he moved toward the wreckage, his eyes caught a flicker of light on the ground. Something small, metallic, and strangely shaped. He picked it up carefully. It was a piece of alien technology, unlike anything he had ever seen. Smooth, dark, and glowing faintly, it pulsed as if alive. "What in the galaxy?" he muttered. He tried to turn it over in his hands, but it responded instantly. A holographic message flickered to life above the device. Strange symbols swirled, forming words in a language Jaren did not understand. Then, in plain common, it said, "Find her if you want answers." Jaren froze. His mind raced. Who was her? Why was this left for him? And most importantly, why had his ship been attacked? He had no idea what was happening, but he knew one thing: staying here meant death. He needed to move to survive and to figure out who or what was behind this. He gathered what supplies he could from the wreckage: a few rations, water, a small toolkit, and his blaster. It was not much, but it was enough to keep him alive for a while. He strapped the alien device to his belt. Its soft glow illuminated the jagged path ahead. Jaren knew he could not rely on luck alone. This planet held secrets, and he intended to uncover them. The first steps were treacherous. The ground was uneven, and strange vines reached out like grasping hands. He had to dodge them as he moved forward. Every shadow seemed alive. He caught glimpses of creatures darting behind rocks, shapes that were fast, intelligent, and potentially dangerous. Jaren had faced hostile wildlife before, but nothing like this. His survival instincts sharpened, every sense alert. Hours passed as he moved cautiously through the alien landscape. His mind cycled through possibilities. Could this be a trap? Could the aliens who attacked him still be watching? He had no answers, only questions. But with each step he reminded himself of what he knew best. Humans survived because they adapted. Humans solved problems. Humans never gave up. As night fell, the planet transformed. The green sky deepened into a dark teal, and the alien flora glowed faintly in the dim light. It was eerily beautiful. Jaren found a small cave, enough to shield him from the cold wind and the strange creatures he had glimpsed. He made a small fire with salvaged fuel and examined the alien device again. The device pulsed faster as he studied it. He tried to communicate with it, pressing buttons and speaking commands, but nothing worked. Then, almost as if responding to his touch, it projected a faint map into the air. Lines and symbols traced a path through the mountains ahead. A location marked with a symbol that looked like a crown blinked at him. His heart skipped a beat. Was this where Her was? Jaren considered his options. Staying put was dangerous. Moving blindly could be worse. But something told him he could not ignore this path. Whatever was waiting at the end could explain everything: the crash, the attack, the strange planet, and perhaps even humanity's place in this galaxy. He packed up his meager camp, resolved to follow the map at first light. Sleep came fitfully. His mind was full of questions, fears, and what-ifs. Strange noises echoed through the cave, and shadows moved in ways that made him tense. Every muscle remained alert, ready for action. He dreamed of the crash, of fire and metal twisting in impossible ways, and of a figure watching him from the distance, shrouded in light. Morning arrived. The cave entrance glowed with the pale green light of the planet. Jaren set off, climbing jagged rocks and navigating narrow paths. The map projected from the alien device guided him, glowing faintly against the terrain. Hours passed, and he began to see signs of civilization. Structures rose in the distance, tall, elegant, and unlike anything built by humans. The architecture was organic and flowing, yet impossibly precise. As he approached, guards appeared on terraces above, watching silently. They were tall, armored, and their presence radiated authority. Jaren froze. He raised his hand slowly, signaling that he meant no harm. The guards did not move immediately but studied him carefully. One stepped forward, pointing to a larger figure emerging from a balcony high above. The figure descended gracefully. Jaren's breath caught. She was taller than any human, regal in posture, with eyes that glowed faintly like the device on his belt. Her presence was commanding, yet not hostile. The alien queen, as he realized immediately, was before him. She studied him in silence, her expression unreadable. Jaren felt a mixture of fear and awe. "You have questions," her voice echoed in his mind rather than his ears. It was calm, firm, and powerful. "And you seek answers that could change your understanding of the galaxy. But first you must understand why you are here." Jaren swallowed hard. His mind raced. Was she going to attack him, punish him, or help him? He could not tell. Every instinct screamed caution, but another voice, the one that had kept him alive through countless crises, urged him to trust his skills, to observe, and to adapt. I don't know why my ship was attacked," he admitted carefully, "or why I'm here. I only know I want to survive and to understand." The queen's eyes softened slightly. "Then you will see, but understanding comes with risk. You must follow carefully or you will not live to learn." Jaren nodded. He had survived worse. He had faced the unknown and come out alive. He had learned to trust his mind, his instincts, and humanity's resilience. This was no different. She motioned to the guards, and they escorted him through massive gates carved into a mountain. The city within was breathtaking. Buildings shimmered with alien metals, plants intertwined with structures as if nature and civilization were one. Hovercraft moved silently overhead, carrying citizens from one place to another. Jaren's eyes widened. Humans had nothing like this. Yet despite the advanced technology, he sensed caution and intelligence in every corner, every movement. "This city," she said, her voice calm but firm, "will show you what your people have yet to understand. But first, you must survive its lessons." Jaren took a deep breath, ready to step into the unknown. The crash, the danger, and the mystery of this world were only the beginning. Whatever lay ahead, he knew one thing: humanity's greatest strength was rising when all odds seemed impossible. And he intended to prove that strength here, on this strange world, facing the alien queen herself. As he entered the city, the alien device pulsed brighter than ever. Its faint glow reflected in Jaren's eyes, a reminder that this journey had only just begun. Somewhere in the heart of this mysterious empire lay the answers to why his ship had crashed, and why humanity's role in the galaxy might be far greater than anyone had ever imagined. Jaren felt a spark of hope, courage, and determination. This was no ordinary mission. It was the first step into a story that could change everything. And he was ready. Jaren walked through the gates of the alien city, his boots echoing against smooth metallic floors that shimmered faintly under the pale green sky. The architecture was breathtaking, tall towers that curved like flowing water, connected by bridges made of light. Vines and plants intertwined with the structures, glowing softly. Hovercrafts drifted silently above, carrying beings with elegant forms and shimmering clothing. It was a world unlike anything Jaren had ever seen, and every step he took made him feel smaller, yet alive. The alien queen walked ahead of him, her presence commanding but calm. Her guards flanked her silently, their eyes scanning every corner. She turned her head slightly, allowing Jaren to glimpse her face fully. Her skin was smooth and pale, but it seemed to catch the light in an almost magical way. Her eyes glowed faintly, revealing intelligence and power beyond comprehension. "You have questions," she said again, her voice firm but not harsh. "And soon you will have answers. But first you must understand the environment you are in. Everything here is connected: life, technology, and power. Nothing is wasted and nothing is accidental." Jaren swallowed hard. "I want to understand," he said carefully. "I want to know why my ship was attacked and what I am supposed to do here." The queen stopped in front of a vast plaza. Thousands of beings moved gracefully across it, their forms diverse yet harmonious. Some had long limbs, others had multiple eyes or delicate wings. They worked, talked, and moved as if part of a single organism. Jaren noticed their focus, precision, and cooperation. It was unlike any human city he had seen. "You will see soon," the queen replied. "But first you must answer a question. Why are you here? Why do humans explore the stars?" Jaren paused. It was a simple question, yet profound. "Humans explore because we want to survive, because we want to learn, because we are curious and brave. Even when we face danger, we don't give up. We keep going. That is who we are." The queen's gaze lingered on him. There was a moment of silence, but it was not empty. It felt heavy with judgment and calculation. Finally, she spoke. "Curiosity and bravery, these are qualities I see rarely. Many civilizations claim them, but few possess them truly. You, human, have survived a crash that would have killed many, and you have adapted quickly. This is promising." Jaren nodded, unsure if he had pleased her or angered her. He followed her across the plaza toward a massive building at the center. It was tall and elegant, made of smooth, reflective materials that seemed almost liquid. The queen led him inside without a word, and Jaren found himself in a hall unlike any he had seen. The ceiling was high, curved, and filled with floating lights that moved like living stars. Holographic projections of galaxies, planets, and ships spun slowly in the air. "Look," the queen said, motioning to the projections. "This is my empire. Every world, every ship, every being is connected through knowledge and power. You humans see the stars as vast and empty, but we see the network of life. We watch, we anticipate, and we respond." Jaren's eyes widened. "All of this, you control it, You manage it. I manage it, she said simply. But control is not the same as domination. Knowledge is responsibility. That is the difference between us and others who think only of conquest. They walked to a smaller chamber, where a table projected detailed holograms of Jaren's ship, the crash site, and surrounding space. He saw the damage, the impact, and a faint trail of energy that led him here. It was as if the entire event had been recorded in detail. You see the trail? The Queen asked. Your ship's crash was not random. It was deliberate, but not to harm you. It was to test your response, to observe human capability in a situation beyond ordinary survival. Jaren blinked. Test, observe. You mean the crash was planned? Yes, she said, but not to kill you, to prepare you, to see how you adapt under pressure. You were in danger, yes, but you acted with skill, intelligence, and courage. These are qualities we respect, qualities that could become invaluable. He felt a mix of relief and confusion. The attack, the crash, it had not been an accident, yet it was not hostile. His mind raced. Why me? He asked. Why target my ship specifically? The Queen's expression softened slightly. Your ship was fastest. Your actions were visible. And humans are unpredictable. You possess ingenuity. You do not follow the expected patterns of your species. That is why you survived, and that is why you are here. Jaren studied her words carefully. You mean humans are underestimated? He asked. Indeed, she replied. Most civilizations see humans as weak, as prey, as insignificant. But I have learned that is far from true. Strength is not only in technology or size, it is in courage, adaptability, and the will to act when others hesitate. You have these qualities, human, in abundance. Jaren felt a strange pride. Despite the crash, the fear, the alien technology, he had survived. His skills, his quick thinking, and his persistence had brought him here, to the center of an alien empire, speaking to a being who saw value in humanity. The Queen gestured to the holographic table again. There are dangers in the galaxy that even humans cannot fully comprehend. Others would exploit your curiosity, your unpredictability, to harm you and your species. That is why this observation was necessary. To prepare, not punish. He nodded slowly. So the crash saved lives? He asked cautiously. Yes, she said. It prevented a disaster that would have destroyed a colony. Your actions ensured that balance was maintained. That is why you are alive, and that is why you are here. Jaren felt the weight of her words. The galaxy was larger, more complex, and more dangerous than he had imagined. Humanity's mistakes could be catastrophic, yet human ingenuity could also prevent unimaginable disaster. He realized that survival was not only about skill, but about understanding and cooperation, even with beings as alien as the Queen before him. You will learn more, the Queen continued. But first, you must experience our world fully. Observation alone is not enough. You must interact, you must adapt, and you must prove that your species can think beyond instinct. That is the true test of intelligence and of survival. She led him through the city once more. Jaren saw citizens of all shapes and forms working together seamlessly. Machines and living beings moved as one. Data streams flowed through the air, connecting every structure and device. He realized the city itself was alive, in a sense, a living network that responded to its inhabitants. They are not machines, the Queen explained. Nor are they slaves. They are participants in a system built for harmony, for growth, for survival. Each contributes according to their strengths. Humans are capable of this too, if they learn to see beyond immediate gain and fear. Jaren considered her words. Humanity had always acted out of necessity, often reckless, but he believed they could learn, adapt, and cooperate. He wanted to prove that. They arrived at a smaller tower, closer to the heart of the city. Inside, the Queen showed him living quarters, workspaces, and training areas. Everything was designed for efficiency, comfort, and learning. She paused in front of a simulation chamber. a room where holographic environments could be created and interacted with in real time. "This is where you will train," she said. "You will face challenges, scenarios, and choices that will test your adaptability, intelligence, and moral judgment. You survived the crash, but survival is only the first step. Now you must prove your capacity to thrive." Jaren nodded. He felt a surge of determination. He had survived impossible odds before. He could do it again. The Queen's eyes softened, and for a moment she seemed almost human. "Do not fear failure, Captain Jaren. Fear only stagnation. Learn, adapt, and act. That is the way to survive, to grow, and to earn respect, even across species." The next days passed in a blur of training, observation, and learning. Jaren adapted to the alien technology, understanding the basics of their energy systems, communication networks, and even their medicine. He learned their language, picking up nuances and inflections that allowed him to communicate more effectively. The aliens were patient teachers, but they expected results. Mistakes were noted, analyzed, and corrected. Through it all, Jaren demonstrated human ingenuity. He found shortcuts, creative solutions, and methods the aliens had not anticipated. He repaired broken systems, optimized energy flows, and solved problems with logic and intuition. Slowly, the Queen's respect grew, as did the trust of her advisors. One evening, as he rested in his quarters, Jaren reflected on how far he had come. The crash had been terrifying, yet it led him here, to an opportunity to show humanity's true potential. He realized that humans were underestimated not because they lacked strength, but because others failed to see their resilience, courage, and creativity. The Queen's words echoed in his mind. Strength is not only in technology or size, it is in courage, adaptability, and the will to act when others hesitate. He knew he had these qualities, and he intended to prove it further. The next phase of his journey loomed ahead, and Jaren was ready. Whatever tests, dangers, or revelations awaited, he would face them with the same determination that had kept him alive during the crash. Humanity had survived and adapted countless times before. Here, on an alien world, he would do it again. And somewhere deep in the city, the alien queen watched, her expression unreadable but her mind analyzing every move, every choice, every instinct. She had begun to see the truth. Humans were more than she had expected. And Captain Jaren would be the first to prove it. The real journey, Jaren realized, was just beginning. Captain Jaren woke to the pale green light of the alien city streaming through the large window of his quarters. The city outside was alive, moving with quiet energy. Hovercraft glided along the skyways and alien citizens walked purposefully, some pausing to observe him curiously. He rubbed his eyes and sat up. Every day brought new surprises, new challenges, and new lessons about this world and himself. Today, however, felt different. The alien queen had summoned him to a chamber he had not yet seen. The path there wound through the heart of the city, where Jaren could see entire systems of life and technology intertwined. Streams of energy flowed along the streets like glowing rivers, connecting buildings, citizens, and machines. It was mesmerizing and terrifying at once. The Queen's guards escorted him in silence, their movements precise and measured. Jaren noticed small details, patterns in their uniforms that seemed to signal rank or function, faint energy traces in the air that responded to their presence, and subtle shifts in the light that guided them along the correct path. Nothing was random here. Everything had purpose, everything had design. Finally, they arrived at a massive chamber, far larger than anything Jaren had entered before. The walls shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting faint images of distant stars. At the center floated a holographic model of a distant star system. Planets, moons, and asteroids rotated slowly, connected by glowing lines of energy. Jaren stepped closer, awed. "This is the system that was threatened," the Queen said, her voice calm but filled with authority. Your ship's trajectory intersected with a dormant superweapon hidden on the surface of the planet Veridian 7. Had it activated fully, it would have destroyed an entire colony within minutes. Jaren felt his stomach tighten. A superweapon. My ship, I saved them. Yes, the Queen replied. But it was not accidental. You were the only pilot fast enough to intercept the energy surge and prevent the chain reaction. The crash itself was a controlled maneuver. The ship's collision with the planetary surface absorbed excess energy and redirected it safely. It was dangerous, yes, but necessary. He struggled to process the information. You mean you caused the crash to save them? To save me too, she nodded. Precisely. We do not act recklessly, Captain Jaren. Everything has a purpose. Everything is calculated. Your survival was never in question, but your ability to adapt and act under extreme conditions was being observed. Jaren's mind raced. For days he had feared that the aliens had wanted him dead, that they had attacked his ship out of hostility or suspicion. Instead, he realized it had been a test, one that measured his ability to survive, think, and act under pressure. Humanity's role in this galaxy was far more significant than he had imagined. Why me? He asked again. Why risk everything for a human pilot? The Queen's gaze softened slightly. Humans are underestimated by most, weak, fragile, unpredictable. Yet you possess qualities few species understand: courage, ingenuity, and adaptability. You act when others hesitate. You solve problems that seem impossible. That is why you were chosen, Captain Jaren. To observe and to learn, yes, but also to prepare for greater challenges ahead. He nodded slowly, feeling the weight of responsibility settle over him. Survival had always been a part of human nature, but he realized that survival alone was not enough. Humanity had potential, potential that could influence events across the galaxy. And now, he understood that the test he had faced was only the beginning. The Queen gestured to the holographic system. Observe. She activated a series of projections, showing the chain reaction that would have occurred had his ship not intervened. Waves of energy spread across the planet's surface, engulfing cities and structures. Within seconds, entire colonies vanished, their inhabitants erased. The visualization left Jaren speechless. He had prevented unimaginable disaster. You see why your actions were necessary, the Queen said. Your ability to act decisively and without hesitation saved countless lives. This is why you are here, not to be punished but to learn, to understand, and to prepare. Jaren's thoughts raced. Humanity often explored blindly, unprepared for the dangers that lurked in the stars. Yet humans also possessed resilience, ingenuity, and moral courage. These traits, he realized, could make the difference between survival and annihilation. He felt pride in his species, tempered by the sobering knowledge of the stakes involved. The Queen led him through the chamber, showing him holographic records of alien intelligence networks, energy systems, and defense mechanisms. Everything was interconnected, forming a complex web of life, technology, and governance. Jaren studied each detail carefully, absorbing patterns, learning systems, and understanding logic far beyond human standards. This empire thrives because we see the connections, the Queen explained. We understand that every action has consequences and every choice matters. Humans have the same capacity, but most fail to see it until it is too late. Jaren listened intently. Then it's about more than survival, he said. It's about understanding, responsibility, and choosing wisely. Yes, she replied. Strength is not in size or weaponry alone. It is in foresight, courage, and the ability to act with intelligence. Humans have this potential. You have demonstrated it already, but there is more to learn. Over the next few hours, Jaren was shown simulations of the superweapon, its activation sequences, and the chain reaction it could have caused. The technology was beyond anything humanity had ever developed, and the consequences were staggering. Yet with guidance, He began to understand the logic, the flow of energy, and the ways it could be neutralized. He realized that humans, with their ingenuity and resourcefulness, could interact with even the most advanced systems if they approached them correctly. "You see," the Queen said, "your species is underestimated not because of weakness but because of unpredictability. You think differently. You act differently. That is both a risk and a strength. You can be destructive, but you can also be the solution when others fail." Jaren nodded, absorbing her words. Humanity's reputation as fragile and primitive was incomplete. Humans had survived countless challenges on Earth, natural disasters, wars, disease. That same adaptability, courage, and quick thinking could extend to the stars. The Queen paused, her eyes glowing faintly. "Captain Jaren, you have proven your ability to survive and to act decisively. But understanding and survival are not enough. You must also earn trust and demonstrate wisdom. Only then can humans be recognized as capable allies." Jaren felt a spark of determination. The crash had been terrifying, but it had led him here. The Queen's guidance, though rigorous, offered him a chance to show the value of his species. He would not fail. Humanity had survived against all odds before, and he intended to prove that survival was only the beginning. The Queen gestured to a smaller chamber within the larger hall. Inside were interactive holograms, complex alien machinery, and advanced simulation interfaces. "Here you will train further. You will face scenarios that challenge not only skill but judgment and creativity. You will confront problems with no clear solution. That is how true capability is measured." Jaren stepped inside, feeling a mix of excitement and caution. Each simulation presented a challenge. Repairing a failing energy grid, redirecting a deadly energy pulse, rescuing virtual citizens trapped in catastrophic scenarios. Each test pushed him to think critically, to act quickly, and to improvise when the systems behaved unpredictably. Hours turned into days. Jaren grew more confident, mastering alien technologies and learning to anticipate complex sequences of events. He made mistakes, but each was corrected, analyzed, and understood. The Queen observed silently, her expression unreadable, but Jaren sensed approval growing. One evening, after a particularly difficult simulation, Jaren sat in the quiet of his quarters. He reflected on the past days, the crash, the journey through the alien city, the lessons, and the revelations. Humanity's potential, he realized, was vast. The skills that kept humans alive on their homeworld, courage, creativity, resilience, were now tools to interact with the galaxy. He felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. Humanity was capable of more than others realized. They had survived environmental extremes, outwitted predators, and thrived despite conflicts and scarcity. Now, with guidance, humans could rise to challenges far beyond their planet. The Queen's words echoed in his mind. Strength is not in size or weaponry alone. It is in foresight, courage, and the ability to act with intelligence. Humans have this potential. He understood that the galaxy was full of dangers, but also full of opportunities for cooperation, for understanding, for proving worth. The next morning, Jaren returned to the training chamber, ready for the next phase. The simulations grew more complex, and the scenarios more unpredictable. He faced moral dilemmas, high-stakes decisions, and rapid problem-solving challenges. Each success increased his confidence, and each failure taught valuable lessons. Finally, after completing a particularly grueling sequence, the Queen addressed him directly. "Captain Jaren, you have proven more than survival. You have demonstrated intelligence, courage, and adaptability. You have shown that humans are not insignificant. You are beginning to understand the responsibilities that come with power and knowledge." Jaren felt a swell of pride. The crash, the danger, and the alien world had tested him in ways he never imagined. But he had adapted, survived, and learned. Humanity's potential was real, and he could feel it growing within himself. The Queen's eyes glowed brighter. The galaxy is vast and the challenges are many, but humans, with their ingenuity and courage, can rise to meet them. You, Captain Jaren, are the first to prove it. And now you will learn the truth behind your crash, the reason it was orchestrated, and the role humanity can play in shaping the future. Jaren's heart raced. The revelation he had been waiting for was near. The mystery of his crash, the hidden dangers, and the alien queen's motives would finally be revealed. He had survived the first test, adapted to the unknown, and proven his worth. Now he was ready to face the truth and to understand what humanity's place in the galaxy truly could be. As he prepared to follow the Queen deeper into her empire, Jaren knew one thing: this was more than survival. This was the beginning of a journey that would define humanity's potential across the stars, and he would rise to meet it. Captain Jaren stepped out of the training chamber into the bright light of the alien city, feeling a mixture of exhaustion and determination. The simulations had pushed him to his limits, yet he had survived, adapted, and learned. Every lesson sharpened his mind, every challenge tested his courage, and every success strengthened his confidence. Humanity's potential, he realized, was greater than he had ever imagined. The alien queen awaited him at the top of a tall observation tower overlooking the city. From this vantage point, the sprawling alien metropolis stretched below, a symphony of life, energy, and technology. Streams of light-connected buildings, citizens moved in precise harmony, and hovercrafts floated silently along the skyways. Jaren marveled at the complexity of the civilization. "Captain Jaren," the Queen said, her voice calm but carrying the weight of authority. "You have adapted well to our systems, learned quickly, and demonstrated intelligence and courage. But your journey is far from complete. The galaxy is changing and challenges loom that cannot be ignored." Jaren listened carefully. "What do you mean?" he asked. "There are forces beyond our borders that threaten balance," the Queen explained. "Rogue factions, aggressive species, and hidden weapons that can destroy worlds. Your species has been underestimated, yet it can become a decisive factor in these conflicts. That is why you are here, to understand, to prepare, and to act." Jaren felt a surge of responsibility. Humanity's role was no longer limited to survival. It could shape the fate of entire civilizations. The thought was both exhilarating and daunting. The Queen led him to a large chamber filled with holographic maps of star systems, each marked with symbols and energy signatures. "Observe," she said. "These systems are under threat. Some are being manipulated by factions seeking power. Others are on the brink of conflict due to misunderstanding or fear. Your task is to understand these dynamics, to predict outcomes, and to act decisively." Jaren studied the maps. He saw patterns of movement, energy surges, and signs of hidden technology. It was complex, yet he noticed connections others might miss. His human intuition, combined with the analytical skills he had developed during his training, allowed him to identify potential solutions and strategies. "You will travel to these systems," the Queen continued. "You will engage with their leaders, negotiate, and when necessary, intervene. You must act with wisdom, courage, and fairness. Humanity's future and the stability of these systems depend on your actions." Jaren nodded. "I understand, but how will I manage? These are alien civilizations, different languages, cultures, and priorities. It will be difficult to gain trust." "Trust is earned, not given," the Queen said. "Your species has qualities that can bridge gaps: curiosity, empathy, adaptability, and courage. Use them wisely. Observe carefully, act decisively, and never underestimate your potential." The next few days were a whirlwind of preparation. Jaren learned about the political structures of neighboring civilizations, their strengths, weaknesses, and rivalries. He studied alien languages, customs, and diplomacy, practicing scenarios with holographic projections that simulated real interactions. Each exercise tested his judgment, patience, and creativity. When the time came for his first mission, Jaren felt ready. He boarded a sleek alien vessel equipped with advanced technology, capable of interstellar travel and communication across vast distances. The Queen accompanied him to the edge of the city, her presence a reminder of the trust and responsibility she had placed in him. "Remember, Captain," she said, her eyes glowing softly, "you are not only representing humanity but also demonstrating the value of cooperation, intelligence, and courage. Your actions will be observed and your decisions will shape perceptions. Do not falter." Jaren took a deep breath and nodded. The vessel lifted smoothly, gliding into the sky and beyond the city limits. Stars stretched endlessly before him, a vast canvas of possibility and danger. The first system he was sent to was experiencing political turmoil. Two factions, each with advanced technology and strong leadership, were on the verge of war. A single misstep could ignite a conflict that would engulf nearby systems. Jaren initiated contact with both factions, using his understanding of diplomacy and strategy. He listened carefully, asking questions, observing body language, and noting subtle energy patterns in their technology. He recognized fears, ambitions, and hidden motivations that could lead to conflict if left unchecked. Through careful negotiation, Jaren identified a solution that satisfied both sides, a joint project to harness a shared energy resource that would benefit both factions equally. It required trust, collaboration, and foresight. He guided them through the proposal, addressing concerns and demonstrating how cooperation would ensure their survival and prosperity. The factions hesitated, testing his intentions and judgment. Jaren remained calm, explaining each step clearly, showing the benefits of unity and addressing potential risks. Slowly, the leaders began to see the logic, and a fragile agreement formed. It was not perfect, but it was a start, a demonstration of humanity's capacity to act wisely and decisively under pressure. The success strengthened Jaren's confidence. He realized that human qualities, adaptability, empathy, and problem-solving, were invaluable even in alien societies. His ability to remain calm, think creatively, and act decisively earned him respect and trust. Over the next several missions, Jaren faced increasingly complex challenges. He navigated political disputes, technological crises, and environmental disasters. Each scenario tested his intellect, judgment, and courage. He relied on human ingenuity, often improvising solutions that others would not have considered. In every case, his actions prevented disaster and earned the admiration of alien leaders. Yet, not all missions went smoothly. In one system, a hidden energy weapon was discovered, capable of destroying an entire planet. The faction controlling it refused to negotiate, believing their power was absolute. Jaren studied the weapon, analyzing its mechanisms and vulnerabilities. Using a combination of logic, diplomacy, and risk assessment, he devised a plan to disable it without causing harm. The operation was tense and dangerous. Jaren coordinated remotely with allied alien engineers, guiding them step by step. He faced technical malfunctions, unexpected security measures, and the constant pressure of time. But he adapted quickly, using intuition, reasoning, and creativity to overcome each obstacle. In the end, the weapon was neutralized, the planet saved, and the faction convinced of the value of cooperation. Each success reinforced the Queen's perspective. Humans were underestimated, not because they lacked skill or intelligence, but because others failed to see their resilience, creativity, and courage. Jaren's actions demonstrated that humanity could rise to challenges far beyond their homeworld, influencing galactic events in ways others could not predict. As the missions continued, Jaren began to understand the depth of the galaxy's complexity. Alliances, rivalries, and hidden agendas intertwined in ways that required careful observation and strategic thinking. He learned to anticipate consequences, to predict behaviors, and to act decisively when necessary. His human qualities, adaptability, courage, empathy, and ingenuity, became his greatest assets. One evening, after completing a particularly challenging mission involving a rogue faction attempting to seize control of a star system, Jaren returned to the alien queen. She observed him closely, her expression unreadable. "You have performed well," she said. "You have demonstrated intelligence, courage, and the ability to adapt. You have prevented conflicts, saved lives, and proven that humans can act decisively in the galaxy." "Yet there is still more to learn," Jaren nodded. "I understand, but every mission teaches me something new. Humanity has survived countless challenges on Earth. Now I see how our skills and qualities can apply on a galactic scale." The Queen's eyes softened slightly. "Exactly. You are beginning to see what few humans have understood. Your species is underestimated, but your potential is immense. You can influence events, shape alliances, and preserve balance. Your journey is far from over, Captain Jaren, but you are on the right path." Over the next days, Jaren continued to work closely with the Queen and her advisors. He shared insights from humanity, proposed new strategies for diplomacy, and offered innovative solutions to technical challenges. The aliens observed him closely, noting his creativity, resourcefulness, and moral judgment. In one remarkable instance, a natural disaster threatened an alien colony. A massive energy storm approached, capable of destroying habitats and systems. Jaren analyzed the situation, identifying energy patterns and structural weaknesses. He devised a plan to redirect energy flows, stabilize critical systems, and protect the inhabitants. The operation required precision, coordination, and quick thinking. The plan succeeded. The colony was saved, and the Queen's advisors expressed admiration for Jaren's ingenuity. Once again, human resourcefulness proved vital. The event strengthened trust between humans and the alien civilization, demonstrating that cooperation and intelligence could prevent catastrophe. As days turned into weeks, Jaren's reputation grew. His actions earned respect, admiration, and cautious trust. He began to understand that the galaxy was not just a place of danger, but also a canvas for humanity's ingenuity, courage, and adaptability. Finally, the Queen summoned him once more. "Captain Jaren," she said, "you have proven your worth, demonstrated intelligence, courage, and adaptability. You have saved lives, built alliances, and shown that humanity can act decisively under pressure. You are now ready to learn the truth, the final answer behind your crash, and the role humanity can play in shaping the galaxy's future." Jaren's heart raced. The revelation he had been waiting for was near. He had survived the crash, adapted to the alien world, proven humanity's worth through countless challenges, and now he was about to understand the Queen's ultimate motive. The stakes were higher than ever, and the knowledge he was about to gain could change the course of human history in the galaxy. He nodded, ready to face whatever truth awaited. The crash, the challenges, the alien world, and the Queen's tests had led him to this moment. Humanity's courage, intelligence, and adaptability had brought him here, and he would rise to meet the final revelation with the same determination that had guided him from the moment his ship had first been attacked. The journey was far from over, but Jaren knew one thing with certainty. Humans, underestimated as they were, had proven that they could survive, adapt, and even thrive in the face of challenges no one else could overcome. And now, the truth would be revealed. Captain Jaren stood before the alien queen in the central chamber of her tower, his eyes fixed on the holographic map of the galaxy that floated between them. Stars, planets, and energy flows shimmered, each marking the complex web of life, politics, and technology that the Queen managed. Jaren had faced countless challenges, navigated alien systems, and proved humanity's intelligence, courage, and adaptability. Yet the final revelation he sought loomed ahead. The Queen's expression was calm, her glowing eyes reflecting the starlight around them. "Captain Jaren," she said, her voice steady but filled with weight, "you have proven your worth. You have faced trials, solved problems, saved lives, and demonstrated the qualities I value most. But now, you will understand why your ship was attacked, why the crash was orchestrated, and the role humans are destined to play in this galaxy." Jaren felt a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. He had survived the crash, adapted to the alien city, and mastered the challenges of diplomacy, technology, and crisis management. But the truth had remained just out of reach, like a distant star he could almost touch but not fully grasp. "The crash of your ship was no random act of aggression," the Queen continued. "It was a deliberate event designed to test, observe, and prepare. Your survival demonstrated qualities that are rare, even among your species: courage, adaptability, intelligence, and the ability to act decisively under pressure. These are traits that can influence the fate of worlds." Jaren nodded slowly. "So it was never meant to harm me or anyone else. It was a test. But why me? Why humans?" The Queen's gaze softened slightly, as if considering her words carefully. "Humans are underestimated across the galaxy. Many civilizations view your species as weak, fragile, or predictable. They do not understand your resilience, your ingenuity, or your capacity for courage. You act when others hesitate. You solve problems when others fail. That is why you were chosen." Jaren took a deep breath. "Then humanity's potential, it's greater than anyone thought." "Indeed," the Queen said. "And now, Captain, you will see the broader picture. There are threats in the galaxy that even advanced civilizations struggle to manage. Hidden weapons, rogue factions, and unpredictable phenomena endanger countless lives. Your species has the qualities needed to respond effectively, to adapt, and to lead when others cannot." The holographic map shifted, revealing multiple star systems marked in red. "These are the systems most at risk," the Queen explained. "Some factions seek to dominate through force, others through technology, and some through subtle manipulation. Your observations, strategies, and decisions have already mitigated dangers in several areas. But there is more work to be done." Jaren studied the map carefully, noting the patterns and connections. He saw potential conflicts, energy imbalances, and systems at risk of collapse. His training, intuition, and human ingenuity allowed him to anticipate possible outcomes and propose solutions. For the first time, he understood the scale of the galaxy's complexity and humanity's role within it. "Your species," the Queen continued, "has survived countless challenges on your homeworld. You have endured natural disasters, scarcity, conflict, and disease. These experiences have forged qualities that are invaluable in the wider galaxy: creativity, adaptability, empathy, and courage. Qualities that cannot be measured by size, technology, or power alone." Jaren felt a surge of pride. Humanity had survived and adapted against all odds, and now these qualities could shape the course of galactic events. He realized that the Queen's test had not only evaluated him as an individual, but had assessed humanity's potential through him. "You understand now," the Queen said, "that the crash, though terrifying, was a catalyst. It revealed your capabilities and prepared you to act when the stakes are highest. You are the first human to demonstrate that your species can influence events on a galactic scale." Jaren nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle over him. The decisions he made would not only affect the immediate systems but could have ripple effects across the galaxy. Humanity's ingenuity, courage, and moral judgment had earned this opportunity, and he could not waste it. The Queen gestured to a specific region on the map, a system in turmoil. "Here, a faction has acquired an energy device capable of destabilizing planetary cores." Their motives are unclear, but if left unchecked, it could trigger a chain reaction that destroys multiple planets. You will travel there, assess the situation, and act decisively. Jaren studied the data, noting the energy signatures, planetary alignments, and technological configurations. He recognized patterns that indicated instability, but also saw potential solutions that required creative thinking and precise execution. His human qualities, adaptability, intuition, and courage, would be tested as never before. He boarded the alien vessel equipped with advanced navigation and communication systems. The journey through hyperspace was smooth, but the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on him. He reviewed the plans, simulations, and strategies, considering every possible outcome. Humanity's potential, the Queen's trust, and the lives at stake depended on his ability to act decisively. Upon arrival, Jaren assessed the situation carefully. The faction had fortified the device, using advanced energy shields and automated defense systems. Any direct approach could trigger a catastrophic reaction. Jaren studied the environment, the device's structure, and the energy flow. Then he devised a plan, one that relied on precision, ingenuity, and coordination. He used a combination of remote hacking, energy redirection, and subtle environmental manipulation to neutralize the device. Each step required careful timing and quick thinking. Unexpected challenges arose: shield fluctuations, automated defenses, and energy surges. Jaren adapted in real time, improvising solutions and maintaining control. Finally, the device was neutralized, its energy safely contained and redirected. The planetary cores stabilized, and the faction, initially aggressive, realized the wisdom of cooperation. Jaren's actions not only prevented disaster, but also fostered dialogue and trust between previously hostile parties. Returning to the Queen, Jaren reported the mission's success. She observed him closely, her expression unreadable at first. Then a faint smile appeared. "Captain Jaren, you have done more than survive or adapt. You have influenced events, preserved life, and demonstrated wisdom beyond what many species achieve in centuries. Humanity's potential is no longer theoretical, it is proven." Jaren felt a deep sense of accomplishment. The trials, the simulations, and the crash had all led to this moment. Humanity, underestimated and overlooked, had proven its value through him. Courage, intelligence, creativity, and moral judgment had guided his actions, and the galaxy had taken notice. "You have earned the right to understand fully," the Queen continued. "The crash of your ship, the tests, and the missions were all part of a larger vision. The galaxy faces challenges that require not only strength but wisdom, adaptability, and cooperation. Humans, through their qualities, can rise to these challenges. You, Captain Jaren, are the bridge between your species and the wider galaxy." Jaren nodded, absorbing the full meaning. Humanity's survival was not only a story of resilience on Earth. It was now a story of influence, responsibility, and opportunity among the stars. The trials had prepared him to act, to lead, and to demonstrate that humans were capable of greatness in ways others had not imagined. The Queen extended her hand, a gesture of trust and acknowledgement. "Captain Jaren, humanity has earned its place among the stars. Your actions have shown that courage, intelligence, and adaptability can shape events beyond your homeworld. The galaxy will remember this moment, and your species will rise to meet the challenges ahead." Jaren took her hand, feeling a connection that transcended language or species. The Queen's gesture was more than acknowledgement, it was validation. Humanity's potential, long overlooked, had been recognized. Through courage, ingenuity, and moral judgment, humans could thrive, influence, and protect life across the galaxy. As he left the chamber, Jaren looked out over the alien city one last time. He saw citizens moving with purpose, technology integrated seamlessly with life, and energy flowing like rivers of light. He realized that humans, too, could achieve harmony with their environment, adapt to challenges, and rise to greatness. The journey had begun with a crash, a terrifying test that could have ended in disaster. Yet it had revealed humanity's true qualities: courage, intelligence, adaptability, and creativity. Jaren had survived, learned, and acted. Now he had proven that humans were more than underestimated. They were essential. Returning to his vessel, Jaren prepared for the next phase, sharing his knowledge, strategies, and experience with humanity, guiding them toward opportunities among the stars. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and possibilities, but humans had shown that they could survive, adapt, and thrive. As the vessel lifted into the starry expanse, Jaren reflected on the journey. The crash, the Queen's tests, the missions, and the lessons had all built toward this moment. Humanity had risen, and he had become the first to demonstrate its true potential. The stars stretched endlessly before him, a canvas of danger, wonder, and possibility. Jaren felt a surge of hope, determination, and pride. Humanity's place in the galaxy was no longer uncertain. It had been earned, proven through courage, intelligence, and action. And somewhere across the vast network of civilizations, the alien queen watched, her glowing eyes observing the unfolding story. She had seen the potential, tested it, and confirmed it. Humans were no longer underestimated. They were recognized, respected, and ready to shape the galaxy in ways few could imagine. Captain Jaren smiled. The journey had begun with a crash, but it ended with revelation, achievement, and hope. Humanity had survived, adapted, and risen to the stars. And the galaxy would never underestimate them again.